Okay, and we are back for our fourth or third installment of the Workout Paradox. So, this apparently transformed into a series because the first Workout Paradox video I saw from Coach Gizact was, I'll just put the links to the video, but you could say, but they brought up some ideas about working out that I wasn't so sure about, that was new to me. And I raised some of my questions in the initial video. Then I watched another video with Greg Doucette because he does like workouts and exercise themed videos. So I watched it and I watched him actually make a video about that video, and then I made a video about that video saying why I disagreed with them on certain points, right? So that was like the Workout Paradox series, and I thought that was it. Lo and behold, apparently they made another one 11 months ago. Oh, so it's been a while ago actually. 11 months ago, an updated version of the Workout Paradox, and then I said let me check it out to see if there's anything different or anything new. So the Workout Paradox in a nutshell, gesagt. Let's go.
Losing weight is hard, and unfortunately your body is sabotaging you every step of the way.
True.
Your body is a biological machine that follows the laws of thermodynamics and needs energy and raw materials to stay alive, which is why you eat. The energy from food is measured in calories, and you need a certain amount to power your internal machines. Your brain thinks, your heart pumps, your gut digests,
I just gotta say, I always appreciate the animation on the Kozgazak videos. Like the animation is just so fun, so vibrant, so colorful to look at. Even when it's like on bleak topics, it's still, kind of like bubbly. I appreciate it.
immune system immunes, and you contract your muscles to move around. The harder a movement is, the more calories you burn. An hour of walking burns about 260 calories, moderate swimming 430, biking 600, running 700. If you eat more calories than you burn, your body stores them, mostly in the form of fat. 1 kilogram or 2 pounds of fat is about 7,000 calories. Seems simple. To lose weight, you have to burn more than you eat, so fat is turned back into energy.
Yes, technically you do. To lose weight, you do have to burn more calories than you eat. But there's some other like complex factors that go into it. For example, like your BMI, body mass index. For example, the more your body gets used to burning calories, like say you exercise a lot, or say you have like more muscle and everything like that, the easier or the less calories your body needs to burn to keep you at your equilibrium. Your body becomes more efficient at burning calories as it adapts to burning calories and becomes better at burning calories, so to speak. So like the thing you do in a walk, like say you burn 260 calories, as I said earlier, in a walk, when you first begin walking, the more you walk, the more calories you burn within the same walk, because your body gets better at walking, at everything else, and you are walking faster, you are walking longer, you are walking just harder, Yeah. Anyway.
There are 2 ways to do this. Eating less, which we'll cover in another video, and burning more, say by moving around aimlessly, also called working out. We also get told early on that exercising is healthy somehow, so working out should kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Unfortunately, this doesn't exactly work out. It's one of these frustrating experiences.
See what they did there? It doesn't exactly work out. Bars. Because work out. Bars.
Where you do what you think's right, only to not see the results you deserve. In reality, focusing on exercising is not a reliable way to lose weight. Some studies show that exercise can lead to some fat loss, others that it's minimal.
So far, if I'm remembering correctly, the videos are almost the same so far, but let's see how it goes.
can this be? It turns out that until recently, we fundamentally misunderstood what moving around a lot does to our bodies. Disclaimer: the science on fat loss is complicated, and many studies compare vastly different populations, different measurements, and are complicated to understand. And the online discussion is full of personal anecdotes. This video covers general principles based on the current state of research. But when you look at the individual, there are variations. It matters if you're an athlete or casually trying to lose weight.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
The
say.
myth of the workout.
Okay.
A few years ago, scientists began to compare populations in
The meat of the workout, pardon my pronunciation, when I say the meat of the workout, I don't mean meat as in beef. I mean meat as in NYTH. It's just the way I pronounce words. But that was the video, that was the initial video.
industrialized societies, which sit a lot, to hunter-gatherer communities who move around a lot. The Hadza people in Tanzania walk an average of 9 kilometers a day to find wild plants and hunt animals, dig for tubers, climb trees for honey, or collect water. They can move more in a single day than an office worker in a week. So of course they burn more calories, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out that the Hadza burn the same amount of calories per day as a typical person in an industrialized country, around 1900 for women and around 2600 for men, which...
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting, right? Because I was also of the opinion that if they are doing more walking per day, then they will be burning more calories per day. And because they burn more calories per day consistently, their body gets better at burning those calories. So the body is like, oh, we need to be in a certain shape and like physique to survive this walking, because we have to walk all this day every time. So the body wants to put you in an ideal physique to do the walking, right? So I would assume that that's how it works based on just previous things that I think I know. But if they're saying they burn the same calories regardless, that was where like the wrench was thrown into my thought process. And if I remember correctly, the initial video did say the reason why it balances out to about the same is because even when you burn more calories walking, your body compensates for those calories in other ways. So you do more walking than somebody else, but then after you're done walking, you relax a little bit more, or you do a little bit less, or you sleep a little bit deeper, or it's things like that. That's kind of like you rush up to this point, then your body kind of like slows down to compensate for the speed you've already done. So even if somebody that's been going consistently with the walking, you end up at the exact same destination regardless. That was the logic in the previous video, which for now I disagree with. I don't think that's exactly how it works, but let's see.
doesn't make sense at all. It's also not their genes, since it's the same for other hunter-gatherer tribes. So the confused scientists looked at similar measurements in individual countries. It got even stranger. Active people who work out regularly do burn more than inactive people, but only very little, often as low as 100 calories, the equivalent of a single apple. For some strange reason, in the long term, the amount of calories you burn is often relatively unrelated to your lifestyle.
Not exactly. It is still related to your lifestyle. It's not in a direct one-to-one as we usually think. And I'll put it like this because this is where I understand it, right? So, say walking burns 260 calories. That's not a lot of calories. You could eat one burger and the whole 260 calories is gone to oblivion, right? Even when you work out, you're not burning a lot of calories, right? Because you're like working out your muscles, getting like, pumped up, and whatnot. But it's not a lot of calories, especially like even if you burn 500 calories, right? It's very easy to pack on those calories back in the flash because of the things you eat or things like that. So the main factor, I think, is the lifestyle, is the consistency of your exercise over time. it's your body's adaptation to the exercise. Your bones getting denser, your muscles getting this, your body getting like more efficient at burning calories. All those things do apply to your physique. And if you work out more often, you will begin to see the results after a period of time as your body gets used to it. Not necessarily as a direct consequence of um like not eating enough food, but more so as the consequence of you adapting to a new lifestyle that makes your body more active and puts you in a physique that helps you to that promotes longevity, so to speak.
Kilo of muscle weight, your body has a relatively fixed calorie budget it wants to burn per day. Sure, if you want to gain muscles by pumping iron, you also need to eat more to build and sustain them, or your new muscles wither away. But in total, your body keeps your calorie budget per unit of you.
That's true. But at the same time, it's not like you have no say in the matter. It's not like your body does all these things and there's nothing you can do about it at all. For example, let's use this example. You want to gain muscle. So in order to gain muscle, you have to eat more for your body to, and then work out for your body to transform your calories into muscle. So it's kind of like it seems like it's a one to one, right? But say you're already like not skinny. Say you have a lot more, weight you would like to lose on you. You don't need to then eat more calories to build said muscle, right? You could just work out more or just work out at all and begin to build those muscles, right? So it's not like, yes, you will be hungry because you are used to eating a certain amount of calories, but you can make intentional decisions to eat less calories if your body requires less calories because you're trying to lose weight. So you could work out more and change your body mass index while eating less, depending on your goals. But if you're trying to gain more weight, you could eat more and then work out. But if you don't work out and you eat more, it's going to automatically transform into muscle, it will transform into fat. But if you're already fat and you don't eat more, you eat less and you work out, you get slimmer and more muscular. So it's not exactly like your body has a budget of energy it wants to burn, and then there's nothing you can do about it. And regardless of what you do, it just stays at its equilibrium. That's not really how it works.
Pretty stable. And to make matters worse, if you want to lose fat, your body sabotages you in small and big ways.
True.
First of all, when you begin to work out regularly, maybe going for a run in the morning, your body may subconsciously make you move less when you don't pay attention. Maybe you take the elevator instead of the stairs, you sit more when you meet your friends, or you sleep longer, largely balancing out your burn again.
So that's another point where I disagree with again. This for so far it says updated, but it's still almost the exact same point it's making. Yes, your body does sabotage you when you're trying to do anything. It's like health and well-being is one of the simplest and at the same time most difficult things that we know of, because everybody knows the answer, but it's so hard to do because you are fighting against your own body. It's like the same thing as trying to like battle an addiction. It's like, yeah, technically you could just stop doing it. Just say no. But it doesn't even not that easy. Your body is like, no, no to I refuse your refusal. You know? So for example, say you want to start like building healthier habits, and it is healthier habits, but being honest with ourselves. Say you want to build healthier habits and you say you want to start going on a walk every morning. A walk that you weren't doing previously. That's like an added activity that you are adding into your schedule that is burning calories. And even more than burning calories, it is also training your muscles to get used to walking, and it's training your brain, and your body is like a very complicated machine. Like you are sending the message to your body that we are going to be walking every morning, or at least like more, we're going to be doing more walking than we used to, so we better adjust ourselves to be able to compensate for this walking, right? And even though you take the elevator instead of taking the stairs after you do your walk, or you sleep longer, or you're a bit slower in certain activities, it is still not exactly like a cancellation of each other, because most of the time, if you weren't exercising at all, it's not like you were taking the stairs all the time. If you were taking the stairs before and then you stopped, then you're not really doing much of the exercise, and you're just like switching exercises. So even if you take the elevator after a walk, but you've been taking the elevator before, the walk still counts as an extra like physical expenditure on your part. So it's not exactly the same. and and I forget the calculation, but for every calorie you burn, your body replaces those calories in other ways, but it doesn't replace the complete things. It replaces it up to like 70% of it, and then the rest of the 30% is like calories burnt, right? So in this, it's like it cancels out your entire work. It cancels out some of it, but not entirely, and that's why it's a slow progression. That's why the general advice is don't aim to like get to your ideal body goals like in a rush, like okay, summer's coming. I gotta go get in shape. No, it's a progression. It's slowly but steadily and everything like that. I'm talking like I'm like in the gym. I haven't been in the gym in in a very long time. But this just things that's, yeah, I happen to know or think I know, but these are my opinions.
preventing you from burning much fat. You can overcome this temporarily if you do actually change your life after sitting around for years and suddenly start working out without eating more. This is a shock to your system. You actually do burn more calories and lose fat, so you can lose weight through exercise. But this is often very short-lived. Your body adapts and burns fewer and fewer extra calories each week until it restores its original calorie budget.
No, okay. So this is the part where time and attention comes into play, right? So if you start walking and not eating more, but you do it for only a short period of time, you do go back to your initial equilibrium. That's why I said, like, don't set huge goals that you cannot sustain. So don't say, okay, from now on, I'm eating only chicken and rice, only broccoli and chicken for the rest of my life. No, maybe eat less, like, okay, less sugar in this thing, less salt in this thing, less rice here and more protein, more vegetables and less this. Just introduce little changes that you can sustain instead of making huge swings that you do for like a couple of weeks and then you lose steam. But little by little. And when you fall off the wagon, it's fine. Get back on again, you know? Yeah, as a professional wagon off faller, I can tell you, yes, you sometimes you're like, okay, I'm gonna be doing this amount of push-ups a day, and then like 3 days, 1 week pass, and you didn't do anything, and it's just lose momentum. But you can, when you get back into it, Your body, you're like getting back on the bicycle. You just continue from where you stop.
After a few months, you burn a very similar amount to what you did when you didn't work out. If you stay really consistent, your burn might increase slightly and your body composition might change, but most people struggle with keeping up the habit if they don't love the extra movement.
Exactly. Okay, now we're cooking. So the problem is not that exercise is an ineffective way to lose weight, or that eating less is an ineffective way to lose weight. The problem is the human body is not usually keen on sustaining the activities required for those things to happen, right? Working out more and everything, your body doesn't want to do that. Your body wants to do the things that it's used to. So creating new habits take time and it's difficult. So it's just a matter of keeping at it, even however imperfectly, making small incremental changes. That's it. That's it.
Which is why so many people hit a weight loss plateau. Objection: what about muscles? Muscles burn 3 times more calories at rest than fat. This sounds impressive, but tissues like your brain, skin or intestines burn way more. In absolute terms, a more muscular body composition makes a difference for how many calories your body burns, but it's relatively small. Muscles matter a lot for health, longevity and performance, but not that much for weight loss. Bizarre. And now we're getting to the actual reason why exercise is healthy. Why your body is sabotaging you. So your body has an activity budget per day that it wants to stick to. This setting evolved when humans had to move a lot. Not because they wanted to, but because they had to find food for survival. But when food is abundant and exercise is voluntary, what does your body do with the energy that you're not using to move around? We're simplifying a lot here, and this is relatively new science, but in a nutshell, there are many different systems in your body trying to do their job as well as possible. And if there's extra energy, they seem to use it. Unfortunately, this is bad. When your immune cells detect injuries or infections, they trigger inflammation. Fighter cells, alarm chemicals, and fluids flood into your tissue. This is crucial, but it also causes damage, so it needs to be cleaned up quickly or it can become chronic. And chronic inflammation is one of the major contributors to many serious diseases, from cancer to heart failure. If your immune system is on a tight budget, it has to be efficient with inflammation. With lots of free calories, though, it overcommits. Another thing is that your glands produce hormones you don't need, like cortisol, the stress hormone, which triggers your fight or flight response. Crucial for survival, but if you have too much of it, you get, well, very stressed all the time. Chronic stress is a major cause for a bouquet of health issues, including your mental state. For our
That tracks. That tracks a lot. I'm not going to go into all the reasons why that tracks. But why not? It does track a lot because, like, if we think about like increasing like mental health issues and things like that, it's weird because like even I'm gonna take it like back to Africa, back to Nigeria where I grew up. I had of less cases of like chronic depression. Not that it doesn't happen, but in largely because we don't recognize it when it does happen. We don't recognize the signs. We don't pay attention to it, and we don't treat it. So some people do end up like crashing out. And they were like, what happened? You know, but it's the person has like severe mental issues. But there is also like a side of it, so where like when you are trying to like survive and do other things, like there are more pressing issues you need to attend to. You don't get the luxury of thinking about like other things that your body might seen as superfluous like energy expenditures, right? But when like you like apparently your body's releasing like all this like cortisol and stress hormones, and those stress hormones that are necessary in a more precarious or like dangerous environments just pile up and bottle up and are being managed or mismanaged in other ways within the body. That's really interesting. I need to give that a lot more thought and research.
ancestors who moved a lot and had to deal with sudden bursts of activity, fleeing from a lion, attacking that bison, this cortisol was crucial. But if you live a modern, sedentary lifestyle, your body is ready for action that doesn't happen, hurting itself in the process. Your body evolved to move regularly.
Did in a nutshell just explain Karen, so I'm sorry. If your name happens to be Karen, the joke was like it was right there.
And is fine-tuned to a certain base level of activity. If this activity is missing, it still uses almost the identical amount of energy just on stupid stuff. This is why you burn a similar amount of calories whether you work out or not. A lot of the energy you spend working out is energy you don't spend on other physical activities and body processes. Working out is not a magic bullet, but it seems to restore an internal physical balance that seriously affects your body. And this is also why regular exercise is so incredibly healthy. The evidence is incredibly clear. It reduces chronic inflammation and stress, it's good for your heart, may ease depression, and makes you live longer and better. Why humans are so hungry. When your ancestors evolved, they had to work hard for calories. Sometimes it would be easy and they could afford to chill out quite a bit. But in hard times, they had to move quite a bit to feed themselves, walk longer to find
The music is so chill. I'm liking the background music.
prey, or dig longer to find tubers. If extra movement burned more calories, this would lead to a spiral of starvation. The less food you find, the more energy you need to find food, which doesn't even fill you up because you moved more. It's like taking on more debt when you're in the red. It works for a while, but then you go bankrupt and die. So, for your ancestors, being able to move a lot without burning extra calories was a matter of life and death. Okay, but this means the obesity epidemic of the modern world is not primarily caused by laziness, but by overeating. Humans evolved to be mad for calories because of our extremely hungry brains and our extremely useless kids. Kids are cute, but
Because I've been savage sometimes. Wow.
unlike other species, human kids have to be fed and cared for by adults for years before they become even remotely useful. Because the human brain not only eats up about 20% of all our calories at rest, twice as much as our closest ape relatives, it also takes a lot of time to develop through playing, learning, and honing social skills, all the things that make us human. Our species is so extremely calorie expensive to maintain that we became super efficient calorie harvesters. 5 hours of human hunter-gatherer foraging yields between 3,000 and 5,000 calories, while our ape relatives get no more than 1,500 in the same time. And we became so good at calorie harvesting precisely because of our big brains and years of social skill training. In a typical ancestral tribe, some members would spend the day searching for plants, others hunting or gathering honey, others nurturing kids. And at the end of the day, we'd share the calories so that no one would end up hungry. Being frenetic calorie harvesters seems to be deeply part of what makes us human. It's not a bug, but a feature. But today it seems as if that feature has turned on us. We can't stop overproducing food and overeating. If you want to lose fat, reducing calories is the biggest part of the answer. We'll cover diet in the next part. So to conclude, you'll probably not lose nearly as much fat by working out as you.
Let's be honest, there's also like a huge part of it is the things that are in our foods. You know, yes, we are like calorie hungry fiends, you know. But if the calories that we are consuming are not as saturated with all this extra, like extra things that our body doesn't really need, but craves because of their addictive natures, like having like sugar and syrup in everything, having all these chemicals that stimulate this in your brain and stimulate that in your guts that make you want to eat more and more of it. We've gotten so good at all those parts of production, not because we want to increase the production of calories, but because we want to increase the consumption of calories. And the only reason why we want to increase the consumption of calories is to increase the amount we spend on calories. And the only reason we want to increase the amounts we spend on calories is because we have invested interest in the role we play in producing said calories and distributing it, that it is our advantage if more people purchase more. And for them to purchase more, we have to more or less poison them slowly, you know, but they're gonna like it the whole time, so it's cool, it's ethical. It's wild because those things don't really have to be. Imagine if you opened your pantry and then there's no like chips with like extreme amount of salt. That amount of salt is not something that is a natural occurring thing that your body needs, but because of the way our body is like, you know, likes the things that it likes and craves the things that it craves, those things are designed and put in the chip specifically to engage those hormones and those enzymes, right? So yeah, it's it is not so much our bodies sabotaging us, but humans understanding our bodies so well that we're sabotaging each other.
You hoped, but you will do something more important. Give your body balance and make you more resilient, and prevent or delay many of the diseases that will make your life miserable, so you can enjoy a higher quality of life for much longer.
Yeah, it's actually insane the amount of things that goes into our foods that don't have to be there. Like they provide no extra nutritional value. They are not even necessary for preservatives. They are just there for the flavors and for the dopamine inducing like substances that would make you come back for more. And all of this thing is just commercially driven. It's just for the finances, all about the money, all about the Benjamins, baby. You know. So yeah, if we had a better like handle on regulating what goes into the food we eat, a lot of like cases of obesity will just naturally reduce, because how much vegetables can you eat until you're sick of it? On the flip side, how much bag of chips can you eat until you're sick of it?
But physical fitness is only half the equation. To make the most of your long, healthy life, you also need a fit, active mind, one trained to navigate our fascinating world.
Yeah, I sense an ad coming, but yeah, like along the things that help like exercise does, it's like helping your heart pump more blood and all this kind of thing. It's like there's just so much benefits to it. But even outside of the extra exercise that has become necessary because of our new ways of life, um, even just like changing your diet does go a long way. It does go a long way. It's just kind of sad that the changes necessary to implement large scale dietary change is hard to come by, because there's so much profit in keeping things the way they are or making it worse even. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, and technically there are things you can do like personal discipline that you could do to avoid those things, but it's a drop it's a drop in the ocean, and we should do the things we can to avoid those things, but there's really not much you can do, because even when you try to eat healthy, these things are in almost every day in so many different ways that you end up running into them eventually. Um, it's kind of like the thing with like recycling, right? So it's okay, okay, yes, you should be recycling your plastic, but even better than recycling your plastic is if we just stopped using plastic altogether. But that would be too expensive. That would be too costly. Why would I put why would I make this jug uh out of like metal or glass, which is gonna be cost me like a few extra cents per unit? Why would I do that when I could just make it in all plastic and does the same job and it's cheaper, more efficient to my bottom line, and I'm able to compete better with the competition out there, you know? Which brings it full circle back to us. So this is okay. The video is over, by the way. See you guys in the next video. Doses. I'm just gonna go on this rant for those who want to hear. So for my fellow yappers, all right. So this actually goes full circle to the role we play as individuals in the larger society, in all these like huge like big issue topics that seem to be larger than us, and then there's nothing we as individuals can do about it, and it's up to like the huge bodies to make it happen. It's not exactly true, because those huge bodies are made up of individuals, right? And it's easy to underestimate the role our actions or inactions play in the decisions that end up being enforced in the world that we live in. For example, these recycling things, right? The companies making, like I said, okay, it would be better if the companies make their things out of like glass or metal or whatnot, instead of making out of plastic that is, harming the ecosystem and everything. But at the same time, I have a plastic bottle. I have several, but I buy things in plastic. I take things and take away. There's a cookies right there on the counter with like in a plastic container, right? Um, is it that I also have a responsibility in also not buying things into that are made of plastic. And if enough people cared enough, the companies would adjust. But there's no reason to adjust if we really don't care either. So we can blame the companies, but it's kind of like our fault as well. But at the same time, it is also their fault as well because we go for the cheapest option, the most bang for your buck that we could get, and we worry about the planet later after we've quenched our thirst and we're eating our cookies, right? And at the same time, the companies, as long as we keep buying, why would I change unless I absolutely have to? I will say, okay, no, the government should make the companies change. But why though? The people don't care, you know? So that's an interesting thing. I was going to a whole different analogy, but I think I'll stop. I think I'll stop right there. Okay, I'll just say one thing about the analogy I was gonna say. It's kind of the same thing with like war and like war and violence that are going on around the world. Um, you know what? I'll stop it. I'll stop right there. I'll stop right there. Great video, guys. Good to see you again. Expect to see me more often. I got time now. But yeah, yeah. Let me know what else you guys want me to react to. I'll be running out of ideas sometimes because I see a video and I start watching it. I'm like, it's kind of doesn't interest me, and I don't want to be making things that don't interest me. So you guys been watching for a while, or if you just started watching, hello, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. Make yourself comfortable. Make yourself at home. But yeah, let me know what videos you guys would like me to watch, and you guys are kind of familiar with the kind of things I like to watch too, to an extent. So let me know. Yeah. All right, guys. This is for you this time.